Hello everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today to talk about accessibility at Cengage Learning. We're going to review how Cengage Learning addresses ADA conformance and accessibility efforts. First, let's define what accessibility means and how it is different from ADA conformance. When we think of accessibility, we have a tendency to think only about vision and hearing impairments. In fact, accessibility is much more than that. At Cengage Learning, accessibility is a practice of making all content usable by any person on any device. Accessibility is a subset of the practice of user experience that focuses on marginalized user groups like people with disabilities, of course, but also the growing older population and people with low literacy skills. Listen to these statistics. Of 19.1 million students enrolled in the 2- and 4-year higher education institutions, over 11% of the student population has some disability. Cengage Learning considers these user populations when developing learning material. The government has enforced laws around accessibility, and we all have to pay attention to these laws. Let's review the 3 most significant laws regarding accessibility in education. Section 508, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, and Section 504. The ADA is more about civil rights that broadly prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability. 2 key federal provisions govern accessibility standards for public and private entities and online environments: Title II of the ADA and Title III of the ADA. Title II is for government entities and institutions of higher education, and Title III requires places of public accommodation and commercial facilities to meet accessibility standards. Soon it will extend to websites as a place of public accommodation. Unfortunately, the Department of Justice has just extended this review until 2018. Section 504 is specific to institutions of higher education who receive federal funds. Section 508 in particular is legally binding only for U.S. federal agencies or those that are federally funded, yet increasingly many states, including California, adhere to Section 508 standards. In terms of learning material, books, LMS, digital technologies, and other instructional resources, Cengage Learning focuses on Section 508 standards for accessibility of information and communication technology. So how does Cengage Learning address accessibility in its products to meet ADA conformance? Cengage Learning is committed to making its materials accessible, and a dedicated person by the name of Michelle Bruno oversees the accessibility program. As Director of Accessibility Programs, Michelle provides training to product teams, drives accessibility initiatives, and works with the local Cengage Learning sales teams to make sure products and services meet the accessibility needs of our institutional partners. Resources include a web page where student services folks can request accessible versions of textbooks, find voluntary product accessibility templates or VPATs for our digital technologies, or directly contact the accessibility team via an accessibility hotline. In addition, resources are available to help you quickly navigate what you need to know and how to address accessibility more widely in your classes. Last but not least, Cengage Learning is dedicated to developing products that are accessible to all students. We're going to talk about a few policies that have been implemented to ensure accessibility conformance, but let's focus first on the types of learning materials Cengage Learning produces.